Well, we welcome you back to the Lair. We're glad you can join us. I am joined as usual by my friend and cohort, Luke Davis. I'm LB Graham, and this is where we talk all things Wildcat football. And we're here this week to do a little bit of an unusual show. We've typically filmed 2 episodes where we looked back at one game and then separately we looked forward to the next game. But this week we're not going to do that. We already have 2 episodes of The Lair that deal with Priory. We have one which previews the first matchup and one which recaps the first matchup. And so rather than doing a complete preview episode, we're going to say go ahead and look back at that information if you want to review how that first game went. We'll say a word about Priory at the end, but mostly we're going to talk about Kennedy and then we'll look forward to Priory. And so let's go ahead and start with the Kennedy game. You know, we're coming off a game where we scored more points than we've ever scored as a program.
Record.
Right? School record, 63 points. Yeah. And for anybody who was there, and even if you weren't, it was a rough game in terms of football. It was an overmatched opponent, and you never, even if you're on the winning side, you never really like to watch that game.
No, it's not a thing of beauty from a purist standpoint. And I would say Scott Long, the Kennedy coach, came out and did exactly what we felt he should have done. If you're an overmatched opponent, you're going to try to box everything in, simplify the game plan, extend the drives, and he did everything, I think, from a coaching standpoint.
You try to shorten the game, a lot of run plays, get the clock, but even so, even keeping the clock going, and there were some nice runs here and there, it's just it was clear this was going to be a long day for Kennedy.
We had the numbers, we had the talent, and they had only 20 players on that side of the ball. It was going to be a rough day.
And our boys looked good. They didn't, they didn't come out flat like they had. They scored quickly and often, and the starters played a half. Put up 42 points in the second half. Our JV basically came out with a couple holdovers to fill in certain gaps.
They did very well there. Steve Webb hit the century mark on only 4 carries. His day was done.
4 carries for 100 yards.
A little bit after one quarter, Cameron Tucker came in, carried the mail for most of the third quarter, spread the ball around real nicely. Casey Hines had a touchdown catch. Dylan Conway had 2 grabs, including the first touchdown and the second play.
So there was a lot of scoring. We put up 21 more points in the second half, and I think the big thing was we moved on, we checked the box, and now we're looking ahead to the district semifinal. Right. And that means seeing Priory again. And even though, like we were saying before, Priory was 0-5 in the Metro. Right. They ended up last in Metro. If you were there at the first Priory game, you know that was a tough game. And, the boys said they played us. They're another team that didn't dress a lot of kids. They only had a few more than the 20 that Kennedy had in the low 20s. Correct. But they were tough, and they were good athletes, and they gave us, in some ways, they gave us fits on some things.
And that's a tribute to the kind of coach that Marty Combs is, that no matter what the odds are stacked against him, he has them ready to play. Whatever the level of talent is, they are, generally speaking, ready to go. And in terms of the record, you talked about 0-5 in the Metro. We were 5-0, opposite ends of the Metro League spectrum. However, when it comes to a district semifinal, and especially the way that Priory has been playing, very improved, took Cardinal Ritter all the way to the wire, beat St. Dominic's, and then just went on the road and smeared. Just obliterated Sullivan. You can throw those records on the bonfire, pour the gas on, light a match. It's all blown up.
We're expecting a tough game.
Yes, we're both 0-0, just to be frank about it.
Yes. So we're not going to do a full 3 keys, but you have a few reminders, a few thoughts about this game. Why don't you go ahead and share those?
You've got, let's face it, it begins and ends with Andrew Rund on the Priory side of the ball. Great quarterback, 2,259 yards passing, 704 running the ball. That almost comes to 300 yards per game of total offense. His fakes are crisp. He knows where his receivers are going to be, whether it be Holden, Wilmson, Connor Donnelly. You've also got Jack Wagner, who's a great possession receiver, runs the button hook flawlessly, gets in the soft underbelly of the defense. And we really need to be paying attention, but the main thing is for our front line to get pressure on run and just not not blitzing in necessarily and leaving lanes open, but contain and putting pressure and forcing him to throw the half second earlier than he would like. I would also say establishing the run is going to be a big deal because with a team with the lower numbers that Priory has, you want to be running the ball down to defense.
We want to wear them out.
Yeah, it's all about the first team to demoralize the other is usually going to win 99 times out of 100. And also another thing playing into a huge factor is going to be the weather. It's going to be a high of 57, rain all over the place is what AccuWeather.com is calling for. So there's a mix of elements in the air that's going to make for a very interesting game.
Right.
The coaches are going to have our boys ready, and so it's a district semifinal. We played them last year. It was a competitive matchup.
Absolutely.
And so we're looking forward to more of the same this year, and having our team just rise up again and refusing to bend and say, like the Soup Nazi, no win for you.
Yes, we should all echo the Soup Nazi and deny a win to Priory. And of course, the game is at 1 o'clock on Saturday. We're hoping that we'll have a big crowd despite the weather and that we'll cheer the boys on. We're shooting for 11-0 and another berth in the district final. So come out and support the team on Saturday.
All right, see you then.